Hello folks, let's try drawing the phases of the moon with a pencil. So I have the center of my paper here, I just made it with a pin, and I'm going to draw a horizontal line through it, more or less parallel to the bottom of the paper. It doesn't really matter, you can be as precise as you want there, but I'm going to draw a line through the center. Then I'm going to take a protractor, as we can see, and I'm going to draw a 90-degree angle from that center point. So I've centered my protractor here on the center of my paper, and I'm going to put a little dot on the paper there, and I'm going to draw a vertical through the center from that point, and it's upon this line, these two lines now, that I'm going to draw my moons. But I need 4 more moons. So I'm going to go back to my protractor, and I'm now at the center going to mark out 45-degree angles, because as we might remember, each phase of the moon is 45 degrees apart from the one before it. So here I'm going up 0, 10, 20, 30, 45, put a mark, and then with that point and my center, draw a line through the center, upon which I will place moons. Now I have 45, and I need another one. So place this back, make sure it's lined up. Looks good. Now go up from here, 10, 20, 30, 45, a mark. Rotate slightly. Now I can see actually that last 45 didn't go right through the center. A little sloppy on my part. And now we have moons in position. Now, there are 2 ways to do this. If you have this tool, the handy dandy circle maker, you can actually just line up a size for first the Earth. So I could use whatever size I want. I want to make my Earth a little bit bigger than my moons, so it might be worth actually making it with this part of that tool, where you take the 2 arrows and you point them right on the center. So you take these 2 arrows that are right here and you place them right on the center of your paper, and line them up with one of your axes very neatly. And then you can make an Earth that has a 1-inch radius or slightly less. I'll go with 1 inch. Seems like a good size for my Earth. So now I have an Earth in the middle. But I want some smaller moons because they are smaller. Now, a quarter is the size of the moon, so a 1/4 inch would actually be the right size for your moons. But that's a little bit too small. And I don't know if we can even make that with this device. But we could go down to the smallest circle that they have. But before that, we want to measure a distance from the center where we're going to place each moon so that it's consistent. And we mean to make sure that it fits on the paper. So I'm going to change my orientation and measure the vertical axis, which is a little shorter. And I'm going to say that I can get my moons about, without any problem, 8 centimeters from the center of my Earth. So I'm going to put a mark on each of these lines, 8 centimeters from the center of my Earth. Then my moons are going to all be centered at the same spot in terms of a distance from the Earth. So now I've got this going on. And each one done. I'll stop there for the moment to just then say that now you can just draw your moons. It's not really very hard, this part. Now, I would go back to this tool, which I've given you a link for in the instructions. But if you don't have this tool, how about a bottle cap? This is from a bottle of oil. in my kitchen. And of course the issue is, how do I center it so that I'm going to have it in the right location? Well, what I was thinking is you could draw a line through the center of the top with a pencil. You might need a colored pencil. Probably, I can see that line. Probably a white bottle top would be better, but I didn't have any. Then, with your protractor, if you can get a line that's about 90 degrees, well, actually, yeah, if you can get a line that's about 90 degrees from that, so put that there, and your protractor should be able to help you get a 90. I have one right there, so I'm gonna draw maybe with red colored pencil. It will work a little better. So I have my mark. Make sure I see it. Yep. I'm gonna draw a red line on the top here. I don't know if I can see it. Yeah, that's pretty good. And the other one, I'll make a little redder. This is rough, but it doesn't have to be much more than that. The idea here is to try to get something that's a X on that bottle top that you can then place on top of an X that I'll place here, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to now, at that 8 centimeter point, I'm going to make a mark that is exactly 90 degrees. And I'm going to put a little line. I'm going to connect these two dots, right? And I'll put a little line that's perpendicular to the original line that I can line my bottle top up, or my cap with. So now I line up my cap with the cross I made. So you can see I've made a little cross here, and now I just line my bottle cap up with that, which seems crazy, but I think it'll work. And so I'm leaning over. It's a little bit awkward, but I've lined up the cross of my bottle cap, and now I'm just gonna trace a nice little moon. And there I go. I got a nice little moon there. And I can erase the lines I don't need. And at some point I have to determine with this drawing where the sun is going to come from. I'm going to say it's going to come from over here. So I might want some arrow that up. And eventually you can erase lines that are inside your earth. You don't need those, except for, well, the vertical line will be good because you can do a light and dark earth. So I could get rid of these, and I can get rid of these. And then again, at each point around your moon, your earth, make a perpendicular to the line here. So this line coming out, get your protractor down and place it down and just line up this black line here. I'm lining up the black line that's on the base here with this center point, and then the line right here, and I'm just putting a mark on the side of the protractor over here at the end, way over here. But I'm not going to draw a line that big. I'm just going to draw a line wide enough so that my bottle cap, I can see it with my bottle cap. Now I put my bottle cap down again and line it up with the T that I have, or the X that I've made on the drawing. Hold that in place and trace. Not bad. Now you can also do it with this, right? Much easier. I don't know if these match perfectly, but let's just see. Yeah, actually that bottle cap matches pretty well with the second hole. So I'll make a couple with the holes here. Now I have to put this again on one of the axes very neatly. Get the two dots lined up, and then put it on the second hole and draw a moon. And you can see that's a pretty nice match. So that's how you can draw your phases using bottle cap, protractor, no pin required, pencil, ruler, and Then you can figure out how to draw the phases. That I'm not going to get into that. But eventually you can be erasing the lines within the moons so that you can color it properly. Lines in the moons don't need to exist there. I mean, actually for this one, this is your, I shouldn't have erased that vertical. Because if I was going to draw all the phases, that would be my first quarter. So I'd be having a light side and a dark side. And again, for the Earth, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to have a light side and a dark side. And with that, I will say goodbye.